I originally wanted to make a video talking about how wokeification of characters is nothing more than a ploy promoted by the left, specifically the woke and the progressives. But then I found out that there was an event that happened at Martha's Vineyard that really goes into this, so I figured I'd decide to change only after finding out what all had basically happened, and so I'm here to talk about it now. Sorry for the delay. So for those who don't know, on Thursday, September 15th, the Florida Governor Ron DeSantis decided to send 2 planes with 50 illegal immigrants from the state of Florida all the way to Massachusetts, specifically the island of Martha's Vineyard. Martha's Vineyard being the iconic home of former President Barack Obama and his family. Now, I have been trying multiple times to think of how or what to normally say because I think it just goes to show how dumbfounded I am about what happened. So, normally the Democrat left, specifically the progressives, who always want to claim that they care so much about the disenfranchised and the marginalized, and how the woke online will always say that we need to care about such people and that we also need to allow the opportunity of diverse voices and multiculturalism and diversity in the movies and TV shows, and Ariel needs to be black. It really says a lot when those very same people, as soon as those illegal immigrants got to Martha's Vineyard, they didn't just call the police, they called the National Guard. Yes, they called the military on them. Now, the reason I bring that up specifically is because I remember back when Trump was in office, I didn't really care much about him. I remember that he was a guy known for saying all kinds of stuff on Twitter. He was very divisive in the sense that he could make all kinds of people enraged immediately. Ever since he was president, in fact, there became a new term called Trump derangement syndrome, and it has not left the political left ever since. The kind of stuff that Trump would do was that he would call them out on their hypocrisy about how, for example, I remember a time when Trump called the MS-13 gang members animals.
We love our police, we love our sheriffs, and we love our ICE officers. And they have been working hard. Thank you. They have been working hard. Together, we're going to restore safety to our streets and peace to our communities. And we're going to destroy the vile criminal cartel MS-13 and many other gangs. But MS-13 is particularly violent. They don't like shooting people because it's too quick. It's too fast. I was reading one of these animals was caught and explaining they like to knife them and cut them and let them die slowly because that way it's more painful and they enjoy watching that much more. These are animals.
Now, being the political left, they spun this to say that he was calling all Hispanic people rapists and murderers, etc., because, the left is going to left. I bring this up because for all the leftists who, back when Trump was in office, if you really did believe that all of everything he said was BS, that it was all garbage, that he was nothing but a bigot, a racist, a sexist, a homophobe, xenophobe, transphobe, every other kind of phobe, oh, McBigot had a farm, E-I-E-I-O, and that you actually wholeheartedly thought that it was all just racist madness, then why did you call the National Guard? It's almost like in reality you do believe in all of that. You believe wholeheartedly that these people are a bunch of degenerates, that they are dangerous, that they are a threat to your livelihood, that they are a risk to the very well-being and property value of your homes, that you can't dare have them be near you, because it'll make all your homes lose value. And if your homes don't have great value, then you won't be able to be the snobbish white liberals that live in Martha's Vineyard. So, I think I'm just going to say this. The Democrats in this moment have really shown their true colors. Specifically, not just the citizens of Martha's Vineyard, but also the ones that have been on Twitter. People have been trying to spin this story as, well, Ron DeSantis as being just a terrible person, because how dare he send a bunch of illegal immigrants to a sanctuary city? And for those who don't know, a sanctuary city was an idea proposed by former President Trump whenever he was pitching an idea that was supposed to be a compromise between the Democrats and him, that it would offer the Democrats an opportunity to have those illegal immigrants to go to certain cities in blue states, specifically places like Los Angeles, San Francisco, Portland, Detroit, New York City. You get the idea. But when it was first proposed back in 2019, the Democrats, instead of cheering and celebrating the idea of being able to help the disenfranchised, they actually did the exact opposite. I remember a video made by Hunter Avallone, of all people, back in the day, and he did a pretty good job talking about it, about how they all basically will pander to the illegal immigrants, but then as soon as they have the idea to literally have them in their city, they say, nope, 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 nope. 3 years later, and it hasn't changed. 3 years later, nothing's different. Whether it's Trump in office or Biden / President Gropensniff, it's still the same. A bunch of leftists that will claim to care about all kinds of issues, but as soon as it's time to put their money where their mouth is, they fail to take a bite. So for all the people who will claim that people like myself who don't want to see Ariel be black to appeal to a bunch of race baiters who will probably never even go see the movie, will never support actual black creators whenever they create stuff, and will never even care about already existing black franchises, just do yourself a favor and piss off. And for everything that's going on with Martha's Vineyard, I'm just going to say this. It really says a lot when people like me are called bigot and fascist and Nazi, all kinds of terrible things because we don't like Ariel being black or the blackwashing of characters, and also being conservative, even though I'm not a Republican, I'm a libertarian. But of course, that doesn't stop people from making their accusations, but when they're put on the spot, they prove their true colors. So anyway, I think for now I'm just going to leave it at this. Congratulations, Martha's Vineyard. You had an opportunity to prove that the political left cared about the disenfranchised, but by this example, you've proven your true colors of the entire political Democrat left. And I want to make it clear that obviously there are Democrats out there who actually do care about marginalized and disenfranchised, just like there are Republican people on the right who are bigots and racists. They exist on both sides, the good and the bad. But this is one of those examples where all the people who claim to care have been exposed for the hypocrisy. And for the people who really do care and are calling out these people, thanks for joining. Anyway, if it's made perfectly clear, I hope you will understand that while all the progressives will march down the street claiming that we need to have diversity, that we need to have inclusion, that we need to have multiculturalism, they'll harass the people in the restaurants like the Red Guard of China, and the citizens will, and specifically the Democrat leaders and political influencers, will cheer along saying, "We have diversity, we have diversity." Once they get home, sip their glass of wine, they will cowardly whisper, "Not in my yard."
What they're doing is simply wrong. It's un-American. It's reckless. And we have a process in place to manage migrants at the border. What they're doing is simply wrong. It's un-American. It's reckless. And we have a process in place to manage migrants at the border.
Before I forget, I wanted to bring up one last point of discussion. Now, I remember back in 2019, I ended up going with some friends to Houston, I believe in June, and it was some Comic-Con style convention. Now, I remember having a decently fun time. We had an opportunity to meet Doug Jones and Rick Farmelo and a few other iconic celebrities and have photos and pictures taken with some people. But outside the convention, on the first day that I was there, I remember seeing this. I don't remember what group this was, but I just remember they were people who were talking about the animal cruelty of food industries and stuff like that. Basically, these people could have been PETA, and I just don't remember. Anyway, being the willingly curious person that I was, I ended up going over and having a conversation with one of the members. And this was a nice young lady just having a civil discussion, and she just, telling me about the unethical nature of, animal cruelty to slaughter animals for food and stuff like that. And I told her that even though I don't exactly agree with her, though I do, no, I mean, sorry, I agreed with where she was coming from, though I obviously myself at the time wasn't a vegetarian or anything. I'm not now, but I'm just simply saying. I remember talking to her about the way in which she can convey her point. And one of the things I said to her was this. I said, if you really want to make a comparison to history, to what's going on in the animal world with the food industry, compare it to slavery with the Democrats. For those who don't know, the Democrat Party was completely willing to continue the expansion of slavery along in parallel with the expansion of the Manifest Destiny to head west to the expanded lands and native lands. Along the way, they at least had an idea of saying that they wanted to keep slavery below the Mason-Dixon line so that they didn't have to see it themselves. Of course, Southern Democrats were fully engulfed in this opportunity so that they could have the opportunity to enjoy their activities. Northern Democrats simply didn't want to have to see it and get their hands dirty. So I compared the same thing to the animal activity of meat houses and slaughterhouses by saying that you can call yourself an animal lover, but you'll have somebody else cut up and kill your animal so that you don't have to get blood on your hands, just on your teeth and fork. Just blood on your plate and in your teeth. Now, I personally still enjoy meat. I'm a beef and chicken guy. But my point still stands. The Democrats were people who wanted to continue slavery, and the ones specifically in the North were okay with slavery as long as they didn't have to see it themselves. So compare it with what happened with Martha's Vineyard, where they're okay with illegal immigration, but as long as it's in, New Mexico or Arizona or Southern California or Texas or even Florida, in those places, so the people in the nice, wealthy, land-owning area of Martha's Vineyard don't have to, see those disgusting people. You all have a nice one, and God bless. My birthday is coming up. And I'm not really sure what I'm going to be doing other than trying to find a better job than my current day job. So you all take care and God bless. And always remember, God bless, good journey, Christ loves you, and take care.